Okay, let's get going. Welcome, everybody. Good afternoon. And you're very welcome into Webinar Wednesday from Sight and Sound Technology. We're back after our summer break, and I hope everybody has had a nice summer. Doesn't feel very summery, certainly here on the east coast of Ireland today, but I hope you have enjoyed whatever you did during the summertime. We couldn't think of much of a better way to start the next series of Webinar Wednesday than with Jenny Axler from Selvas, who's a longtime friend of Sight and Sound and a great person who does a huge amount of work on continually evolving the BrailleSense 6 as a powerhouse of a tool. And there's some really exciting updates going to be coming in the next little while, which Jenny is going to talk to us about today. If you'd like to get in touch with us during the session, you can do so by raising your virtual hand. That's Alt and Y on Windows. It's Option and Y on the Mac. Or you can do it if you're on your mobile app of choice, access the raise hand button. You can also chat with us, Alt and H on Windows, Option and H on the Mac. And you can chat via the mobile app as well. I will just preface all this by saying that I am managing raised hands and chat on my own today. So please be patient. I will get to your chat messages as soon as I can, and we'll collate them all and put those questions to Jenny at the end of the session. And as I say, if you have a question you would like to ask and you do raise your hand, please bear in mind that this is a busy session. Yeah. So try and keep your questions as concise as you can. Jenny, we're thrilled to have you back. We appreciate it's early in the morning for you because you're in the US. So thank you for doing that. And I'm happy to hand over to you.
All right. Well, a couple things before we get started. I just tried to share my screen and it appears that I cannot because only Stuart can. So
Bear with me. What do you see? This is live. There you go. Okay. You
okay,
keep chatting away there and I'll do that just a sec. Let me fix that in just a moment.
Okay. And I also wanted to let you all know that we're having storms here this morning. So unfortunately, I cannot control the weather. So if you hear some booming and rumbling, I don't know that most of it'll get in unless it gets really unless it gets really loud. But if it does, that's what's going on. So,
As
I
long
say
as
that
you're
as
as
it
long as you're staying
just
safe,
begins
Jenny.
pouring. Oh no,
Yeah,
it's
as
not
long as
that
you're
bad,
okay.
but it did just begin pouring. So yeah, it might actually
Okay.
come through.
You should be able
Okay,
to do a screen share now.
I'm going to, yep, just a second. Well, I thought I could. Hang on. Oh, this has.
And I'm just seeing in the chat we have a couple of QTVIs joining us as well, which is great. Some colleagues from Northern Ireland. I know we've one or two from Edinburgh as well. All big fans of the BrailleSense. So yeah, everybody's looking forward to this.
All right. Well, as I was explaining to Stuart, it's been about a year since I've actually been on a webinar. So I just went to share and thought I could get to screen, and it doesn't. Do you have any advice here for me, Stuart?
Sorry, Jenny, it's still not sharing. It should just let you share. I've enabled your permissions.
No, I know, but it's giving me all kinds of things like OneDrive and Box and
Oh gosh, I thought there's just an option that says something like, yeah, there is a whole lot of them,
screen.
but there should be something that says screen. Yeah, there should be.
And I don't see it. Oh, here we go. Wow. It's
Not straightforward sometimes.
oh goodness. All right. It is not straightforward. Oh.
That's the
All right.
joys
I'm
of the
ending up
Zoom.
in a lot of settings. All right. I'm sorry, but we are going to go without that. My camera's
Okay,
on. You can see what I'm pressing, but you're unfortunately this is for the TVIs. I do apologize. We will be doing videos, but I guess you could think of it that this is how you deal with it with your students in many respects. So we are going to do that. So just a minute. Okay, so before I get started, there's one question that I know that many of you have that I want to answer immediately because it's going to be pretty universal and it's going to be probably one of the most important questions that you have. And that is this upgrade going to fix the reboot problem? The answer is yes, it will. It will be a couple weeks out. Um, we do have to make sure that everything is as bug-free as we can make it. So we can't release early despite the fact that I know that that's very annoying. It will not damage the device. It is annoying. It does take longer to boot. But also, if you just shut down your device, or sorry, just put it into sleep mode rather than shutting it down all the way, you'll deal with this a lot less. So please be patient with us. I think it's going to be just about exactly 2 weeks out. We are under final verification with our QA team. So it is coming soon and it will fix that problem. So as far as the other things, there are 4 major things that I want to cover. And you should be hearing my BrailleSense.
Office tools, T.
Yes?
We are. Yep. We
All
are.
right. So the first thing that you are going to notice when you upgrade to this build is that it looks a lot different as far as just, on the surface of it, because we have changed the menu structure a good bit. I know that this is going to be a slight bit confusing for some of you probably. And many people do like the new organization once they get used to it. But sometimes when a device grows this much for this long, you just have to do that. We need room to grow. We need better organization, things like extras and utilities, things just kind of got dumped in there. So we really needed to sort of clean up the structure. So we do still have
File manager,
our file manager at the top. Then we have a menu called
Office tools, T.
Office Tools. And in here we have
Word processor, W. Notepad, N. Email, E. Excel viewer, X.
okay.
Task name, Zoom. Current view,
Sorry.
button share,
Oh,
file manager, F.
Okay, I can't do that. Now it's going to take a second because when it goes to picture in a picture, it locks up for a minute. A minute. Come on.
File manager, F.
There we go.
Office to media, M.
Now, media is the same.
Library, L.
Library is the same, except that we have moved the Sense Dictionary into this menu. There is one change in media, but it may not really be much of a change for you. The video search application has been an add-on thus far, and it will now be built in. So you will find that at the end of the media menu, just as you would if you installed it.
Organizer, O.
Our organizer menu is the same.
Web tools, B.
Web tools, we have a new browser, which I will talk about momentarily. And so that is now at the top. We do still have the old browser available. It is farther down. We want to sort of transition into this new browser. Again, I'll get to that in a little bit.
Extras, X.
Extras now has
Braille practice, B.
a new application called Braille Practice, which again we'll go over momentarily.
Sense brain game, G.
And then we have our games here.
Sense dice game, Sense roulette game, R.
Now we have actually
Braille extras, X.
Removed the color reader, which I don't know. Some of you may be upset about that, but I'm thinking that most of you don't really use it much. We do still have it in the Sense player, but it doesn't lend itself well to the BrailleSense camera, and it's actually not that accurate. So we have not found that people are missing that, so hopefully that remains true. We can always put it back if that turns out to be the case, but right now it is gone.
Programs, R.
That is for installed apps, and I'm not really even sure why I'm seeing that. You can ignore that.
Utilities, U.
So our utilities menu has been seriously cut, and the reason that it's been cut
Clock and timer, K.
is because we've created a separate menu for the clock and timer functions. We have several of them, and the utilities menu had something like 15 items in it. So we
Display
have
time and date, D.
display time and date.
Set time and date, world clock, O. Wake up alarm, A. Stopwatch, double sleep timer, J.
So those things are now in their own separate menu.
Display time and clock and timer, settings, S.
Now, settings, of course, is going to look a lot different because we've moved a few things out of it. One of the things that we've done, for those of you who have an emotion, you will know that we actually split the global options up into 3 dialogues. We took the Braille options and the voice options and gave them each their own dialogue. and then put everything else in general options. So we still have that here.
Braille options, B. Voice options, V. General options, set up internet, I.
So here are things that you know.
Bluetooth menu manager, backup restore BrailleSense, password protection, A. Initialize BrailleSense app, reinstall default apps, Braille learning tables, T.
So this is a new option. We had this in the global options last time with our last firmware. We've actually given it its own separate dialog so that you can more easily access the lesson series. They're more in a tree view, so you can move among the lesson series and then choose the level of the lesson in that series instead of having to go through all of them in one very, very long list.
Language profiles, L. Android backup reset, Android system settings, E.
And all of that is as you would expect it to be.
Braille options, settings, S. Help and information, H.
Now, we have a little bit of a new menu here. So in our help and information,
Quick Start Guide, Q.
the Quick Start Guide is now here.
User Guide, H.
The user guide, of course.
Latest release note, R.
We have the latest release
View
note.
device name, D.
View device name.
Information about the BrailleSense, I.
And your information about the BrailleSense. So all of the things that are related to help and information about your device, you will now find in their own menu.
Quick help and information, Android apps, A.
Now, Android apps, we have moved the Play Store to the top of this menu.
Optional add-ons, N.
We have our optional add-ons, which still has things like, for US users, things like Bard Mobile. The Sense Bible is here because that needs to be optional, various things like that. We're still hoping for RNIB. It's still on the list.
Favorite apps, V.
And then we have a new option here called Favorite Apps. This, as you know, you can bring up the main menu with F1. This you can bring up with Control F1. And you will be able to add applications to this using the menu manager. You used to just be able to use that to hide or show selected apps, and it was a great thing for education. But now you can also, in the list of applications, choose to add them to favorites so that you have one menu of just the apps that you use or apps that you use more often than others. And this might also be useful in the classroom because it's a very easy way to get your students to the apps that they need without having to be distracted by the ones that they don't. You can still hide them in the menu manager, of course, and that's still an option, but this is just another way. And another reason that we did this is because we are changing these menus on you, and we know that that's going to confuse some of you. So there are a couple things that I would ask you to remember with this. One of those is that, especially for Notepad and email, these were found in Word Processor too. They were all in the main menu. And I know for me, a lot of times I would press F1 and then E or F1 and then N. Remember that all of these have quick launch keys. Everything does. And we have refreshed that in the command summary so that you can more easily see the ones that are available. There are a lot of new shortcuts. There's all kinds of things that you can do there, and it's much more organized, I think, and easier for you to pick out. But remember that if you pressed F1 then N before, you can press F1 with N together, and it's actually faster because you can do it from anywhere. So you don't have to, rethink too much. Just kind of think about how you do it rather than a first one and then the other, do that together and you're going to get the same result. Again, too, that's why we added the favorite apps so that we could make things that you want to use easier for you to find once you set that up. All right, so as I said, it looks very different. One of the other things that we have done is to completely overhaul the word processor. So I'm going to press F1W to open that.
Task name, word processor. Top of document.
So again, I have a blank document as I normally would. I just want to go over a couple of things. We have added the ability to insert a lot more formatting now. Specifically footnotes, tables, and outlines, bullets and numbering. So we've also added the ability to query a lot more things. For example, and you can query the current paragraph style and formatting using backspace enter Y. We do have font info information. We had that before with backspace enter N. There are now options for setting things as defaults. So, for example, you can set your default paragraph layout and your default document layout so that you you don't have to use our defaults. You can create your own, and you will sort of have your own template. I do want to show you a couple of these things specifically. So I'm going to press F2 to open the menu.
File, F, pull down menu.
And let's go to Insert.
At Insert, I, pull down menu.
And I'll press Enter here.
Insert from File, I, dialog enter I menu item.
And I'm going to move down.
Insert time, U, insert page break, insert tab, T, insert footnote, F, insert table, A, dialog control alt T menu item.
And I just want to show you how easy that is. Now, all of the table commands use Control Alt for their modifier, just FYI. I'm going to press Enter here.
Insert table dialog, number of columns, edit box.
So now I have two edit box in which I can actually enter columns and rows. So I'll just type 4 and then
Number of rows, edit box.
we'll do 3. And then again, I'm just pressing F3.
Confirm button.
And I'll press Enter.
Successfully insert table.
And it looks like we have some English to correct, but it is successfully inserted. Now I can use navigation using Control and Alt. So like Control Alt 1 and Control Alt 4 will move by row. Oh, I'm at the top, so.
Column 1, row 2.
Yeah.
New paragraph. Column 1, row 3. New paragraph.
So I can actually insert text here. Then again, I can use Control Alt 3 and Control Alt 6 to move by column. Maybe.
Column 2, row 3. New paragraph.
And again, that's actually my fault because I was as far left as I could go. So it's actually not going to continue to go up. So you're going to be confined within your row. And so I was as far left as I could go, so I could only go to the right. So it is very specific. You will always know where you are, and you can just enter text that way. I'm going to go to the end of the file now to get
End
out of
document.
this.
And enter.
And now I'm going to go back to the menu.
File, F, pull down menu.
And I'm going to go to Layout.
Layout, L, pull down menu. Font, F, dialog backspace style, F, bullets and numbering, B, dialog space backspace enter B menu item.
So now I have bullets and numbering, and I have all kinds of options here.
Bullet type, bullet 1 3 combo box.
So first of all, I can choose from bullet,
Numbering 2 3 multi-numbering 3 3 combo box.
numbering, or multi-numbering. If I go back to bullet,
1 3 bullet, filled circle 1 6 list item.
see, I've got all the different types.
Filled square 2 6, filled diamond 3 6, check mark 4 6, arrow 5 6 list, diamond 6 6 list item.
So I have all the different bullet shapes. If I go
Type,
to
bullet
numbering,
1, numbering 2 3 combo box. Numbering 1 2 3 1 6 list item, comma 2 6 list item. 3 6 list item.
okay, so what it's showing me, again, this is when it would be great to have a screen. I'm actually seeing different dash options because you know how sometimes you see dash dash, and there are different ways to indicate numbering. So there's Roman numerals, there are numbers, there are
1 2.
but I'm going to go to 1 2 3, and I'm going to press enter. And I should be able to type something.
Type. Something.
Oh,
Pay something.
oh, you know what? I think that again.
End top.
Oh no, it's doing it. I'm so sorry. It's just not announcing. So what's going on here is that I'm getting, now I pressed enter and I'm getting number 2. If I press enter. Again, I'm going to get
1 tie.
See, there's 1
Blank.
and then I pressed enter twice, so it actually got me out of it. But if I press enter after this,
Tie.
there, now I see number 2. It doesn't announce it, but now I have options for changing the levels of my outline. So when you want to do like ABC or you want to do I, etc., you usually would use tab on your PC and shift tab to go out a level. We can do the same thing with Control.3 and Alt.6.
Level 2.
So it announced level 2, and now it's showing me A.
Level 3.
Now it is showing me a different number 1. So again, this is going to allow you to create all of this formatting that you usually can do on a PC, but you know, with Braille integrated and all of this, etc. So anyway, I am going to run out of time if I don't hurry. So I think I'm going to go ahead and close this.
Save no name docs. Yes,
And we're
no
going to say
button.
no.
346,600.
Okay, and we are going to go
File manager, F.
back to the file manager. The next thing that I want to talk about actually is the web browser. And you know what? I actually don't think I'm going to demo too much of this because it doesn't really feel that different. Other than, I apologize. I thought I heard the storm sirens going off, but I don't think so. Either way, I'm not going to worry about it. Not much is happening. So um, I am very distracted this morning. This things sort of caught me off guard, which sometimes seems to happen when I present to you guys. So again, as usual, I do apologize for being a little bit all over the map. So the new web browser, it's a little bit difficult to demo it and have that be very exciting because in many respects it feels like the old browser, but we did that on purpose. The difference though is that you're able to perform modern functions now. So it acts more like Chrome as far as the things that it will support, but it feels like BrailleSense. The other thing that we did do to improve on it is to streamline the interface a little bit. So for example, you have backspace H to move to the last heading, enter H to move to the next heading, and backspace space H to go to the headings list. Same thing for links, except they use K because L is used for other things. But regardless, this is a lot easier to memorize, to know what you're doing. I don't know about you, but using, what is it, enter B or what was it, space V? I don't even remember, to move forward by heading in the old browser. And I think backspace F was one of them. It just, I mean, I never could remember what they were. So changing to these new keystrokes, although they are different, I've actually had a very, very easy time doing that. Another new function that we have is this Braille practice application. This is the other thing that I kind of wanted to show you. So I'm going to press X for extras.
Braille practice, B.
And this is the first item here. I'm going to press enter.
Welcome to Braille practice. Please enable speech for best results. Choose from the following categories. Letters, speech only, 112 list item.
So I have 12 categories here. And before we go too far, I do want to just say that this is not according to any specific lesson series. And this isn't meant to be a learning tool. This is a general practice tool. We put it in there. We were requested to do so after we started supporting the Braille learning tables, just as a sort of general practice. And this might be a situation where if you have students that you're not yet introducing to electronic Braille, but you want to, this might give them sort of a neat little game to play or something like that. Adult learners, if they're learning contracted Braille, may choose to use this for that kind of thing. But this really is general practice. We very likely will build on it, but right now it is very foundational. So depending on the category, things are slightly different. So it said letters, speech only. And the reason that it said that is because for some of the things, we do actually show uncontracted Braille.
Signs and punctuation, 212 list item.
So for example, signs and punctuation, if it wanted a period, it would actually spell out the word period in Braille, which also allows very beginning learners to practice their letter reading and stuff as well. So it's just kind of supposed to feed on itself. So we have various categories.
UEB literary numbers, 312 list item.
So we have UEB/literary numbers because, of course, in UEB you do not use Nemeth numbers, but in the United States,
Nemeth numbers, 412 list item.
many people do still use Nemeth numbers, so we have both.
Single character word signs, 512 list item. 2 character short form, 612 list item. Word parts, contractions, 712 list item. Advanced short form, 812 list item. Elementary words, speech only, 912 list item.
And we get to these last 4 categories, and these again are speech only. They are various word categories. They get more difficult as you go. The reason that these again are speech only is that you can actually practice according to your current learning table level, or rather the contractions that you know. The only thing that is required for these to be deemed correct is that they are spelled correctly. The categories thus far, you do need to enter the correct dots. But once you get to the the different word categories, all you need to do is to spell them correctly. Thus, we can't actually show them in contracted Braille in uncontracted Braille, because that would sort of defeat the purpose, especially if you are just at the letter stage and you're needing to practice uncontracted Braille. So we have these various things. I will just
Advanced short form, 812 list item.
press enter on advanced short forms.
Advanced short forms practice. Type your answer and press enter to submit. Rejoice.
So now I'm just going to do RJC, which we know. Now I'm told that Zoom will cancel out my little thing.
Deceiving.
it actually gives me a little ding to tell me that it's right. If I do it wrong, we'll just do this.
Deceiving.
I don't know if you can hear that. It kind of does a little so it gives you different sounds whether you're wrong or right. And if you get it wrong, it gives you 3 chances to do it correctly. And if you miss all 3 chances, it will show you in Braille what it should be. And then it will give you time to read it, and you can press enter to continue. So again, this is just general practice. This is the early stages of this application. So this is what we've got.
346.
I'll go ahead and close that.
File manager, F.
So those are the major new applications that we have. So we have, again, the changed menu structure, the overhaul of the word processor, the new and more modern browser, which is currently in public beta. So any of you can actually access that right now from your add-ons. You have been able to do that for a while, and you still can for the next few weeks. One thing about that, we are going to keep it updatable via the add-ons, although we do believe that it's pretty stable and it's more ready for release than it was when we entered public beta. HTML has endless variation. We're always going to come up with situations that we haven't tested, no matter how many beta testers we have or how much it goes into public beta. There are reasons people don't want to run public betas, et cetera, et cetera. So this isn't going to harm your unit. It is stable, it is effective, but we do, if we encounter situations, websites that don't work well, et cetera, we want to be able to update it without updating the entire firmware. A couple of other things that we've done in our web radio and podcast, we've sort of updated these applications. For those who use the Sense Player, the web radio looks a lot more like that, and that it opens up in the channel list. It's just, again, a lot more streamlined, a lot easier to figure out what you need to do. You just, press enter to play a station and press F4 to get back to the list. Podcasts, we added a different search engine. So we removed Gpotter and digital podcasts, I think it was called. I don't know. I never used it because it wasn't all that effective. So we added a new index called Podcast Index, and it's actually powered by ChatGPT. And what this allows you to do is, I think the big advantage of it is that you can get descriptions for even searching by keyword. Even in iTunes, you can only do that when you're searching by category. But this allows you to get a description of any podcast that it locates, so you know for sure that you're adding what it is that you're actually looking for, which has kind of been a challenge in the past. And for me, that's made searching for new podcasts much, much more enjoyable, because I know for sure what I'm getting before I go and add the feed and then check it and see if it's actually the right stuff. Of course, we have updated all the default podcasts, web radio stations, the app installer. All of these apps are refreshed. In fact, that you have access to right now, because that's just a public server that we update dynamically. So that's already available to you. We have all kinds of fixes. I'm sure that I'm forgetting things. This seems like a huge thing for me because I had to completely rearrange the manual due to the new menu structure. So it feels very, very large to me, but may not seem, and the release note, I mean, admittedly is quite lengthy. So there is a lot in this update. I think, though, because I've rambled a long time, I do want to go ahead and take your questions, at least as many as I can. So.
Okay, thanks, Jenny. You didn't ramble at all, by the way. Really great presentation, so thank you. I do see some hands going up, and Brian, I will come to you in just 2 seconds. I just want to address 2 questions that came in chat, Jenny, and one of them relates to from Julie about sort of how do we know when the update is out? Does the BrailleSense 6 give you an alert about an automatic update?
Yes. So there will be a notification that an update is available. If you press enter on it, it should take you to it. But regardless, if you receive that notification, you can go to the upgrade menu and download it. Also, I do also notify Sight and Sound. I don't know how you guys send announcements out. The US sends announcements out. So it also, in addition to your device notifying you, you should receive notification from various organizations as well.
Yeah, and we will certainly have, I know we put it out sometimes through social media and sometimes on our podcast and website, so keep an eye on those too. And just a quick question from Rosie, who is in Northern Ireland, is just asking, will there be will there be a summary sheet available with the new shortcut keys? I guess that's in your release note, is it?
Some of them will be in the release note, but I would actually suggest that you revisit. It will be sections 16.1 and 16.2 in the commands summary, which is the command summary is a summary of all the commands on the device. But those first two chapters have been much reworked. So I would suggest that when the new manual comes out, you take a look at those again.
All right, fantastic. Thank you, Jenny. Okay, let's go to some questions. And just a reminder, if you want to raise your hand, now is a good time to ask Jenny any questions. So I'm going to start with Brian Hartston, a good friend of Sight and Sound, of course, and doing lots of great things in the community for accessibility with his JAWS add-ons. Brian, you should be able to unmute.
He's almost
Please
always
go
the
ahead.
first one, too. Very eager
Yeah,
he is.
very
Hello,
eager.
can you hear me?
We can.
We can.
Oh, good.
Loud and clear, Brian.
Oh, great. I'll keep this short. I use my BrailleSense every day, and I haven't upgraded it for a couple of years because I haven't needed to. I haven't had a single problem with it. So my question is, if I want to go to the new update, I won't have to go through incremental steps, will I? I'll just be able to do it right away?
You won't, but you need to be careful about how you do it. You will want to do an offline upgrade. So there are some special instructions, and I'll make sure that these also go out with the announcement. But so you'll want to do it offline, and you'll want to turn Wi-Fi off, which sounds really weird. But the reason for this is that Google Play Protect really kind of tries to get in the way. And if you turn Wi-Fi off, it will not.
Right.
Sometimes it can get stuck when you want to install accessibility, which then makes everything after that much, much more difficult to deal with. So I would highly recommend that you back everything up before you do it.
Yeah.
Upgrade offline and turn Wi-Fi off before you do that.
Okay, but if I follow those steps, it'll be all right.
It should be, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate your question. Okay, I'm just watching here to see if we have any more raised hands. Again, if you want to raise your hand, Alt and Y, or if you're on a Mac, of course, it's Option and Y. Jenny, just I know you mentioned the learning tables before, but maybe it's just worth reminding people. I know they have been in a previous, in fact, they're in the current build or the current public build. But again, just really useful way of, I call it graduated contractions. I know that's not the correct term, but it's kind of just introducing those
I think that's
contractions.
appropriate.
Yeah, gradually, isn't it?
Yes. So what that allows you to do, Duxbury offers several Braille learning tables according to different lesson series. So I don't know, is it the Takeoff series that you guys usually use in the
Yes.
UK? Is that
Yeah.
right? I guess I don't know in Ireland if it's different, but
Yeah, same one.
it is the same one. Okay. So there are different ones. I think, in New Zealand they have some different tables, and there are different ones in the United States. So all of these do apply to UEB. We are not using learning tables for other Braille codes at this time because none of them are relevant as far as for new student learning at this point. So it is only for UEB. I actually had someone ask me if I could do it for the older English American Braille edition, and no, we can't do that because even if you are using that, and that's totally fine, we still make that available to you. For a new learner, because materials from this point forward are going to be produced in UEB. So that is really kind of what you want to focus on. And if you are switching over, this kind of gives you a bit of a way to do that. But anyway, what these do is they allow you to contract Braille on the entire system according to the learning level that the student is currently at. So if they're at lesson 4, and there's a Braille learning table for lesson 4, you can utilize that. And the only things that will be contracted are the contractions up to that point in the lesson series. So yes, it is a way for them to use them in practice, by reading the menus or whatever it is that they're doing. And yeah, it's
Okay. Brilliant. No, that's good. It's just good to know. I think it's a great function. I'm just gonna see a few things coming in chat, and I will come back to chat in a sec. Just a quick one. Julie is asking again, Jenny, it's a follow-on question to the update. How can I make sure my BrailleSense tells me about the updates? I guess that happens automatically, or should happen automatically when a new
should
update
happen
comes out.
automatically.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And Julie, if it's not, just get in touch with us. I'm going to go to Nick Goronsky, and I have a terrible feeling I've mispronounced your surname, Nick, so I do apologize. But you should be able to unmute yourself. Hi,
No,
Nick.
actually, you pronounced it correctly,
Oh,
Gronsky.
wow.
Yes.
Okay. That's a
Yeah,
good start.
my question has to do with the web browser, because I was testing out the public beta of the web browser, and I like the new web browser. It's great and everything else. But one thing I've noticed, which maybe is something that you could look into, is either is there a way that we can check to see when add-ons like the web browser get updates? Because right now we have to basically manually always go and check and all of that. And it'd be nice if there was some sort of either an automatic update, which I'd prefer, or some sort of an update notify thing where it would just, it could just handle things and prompt you and tell you. Because right now it's nice, but it would be nice if there were ways to have updates, notified or told about or something, rather than this guess and check scenario where, you have to guess and check for updates all the time.
Sure, I understand that. Understand, though, that this is actually the first time we've ever used that function for a beta, and it's probably not something we will commonly do. Generally, what these are for are things that don't necessarily get shipped in the firmware. For example, regional libraries that clearly, the people in the UK don't need NFB Newsline or Bard.
Right.
And
Right.
so it's basically for those functions. So this was a unique situation, and that's kind of why that function doesn't work the way you expect.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I just was curious as to what the deal was. So if we do have the beta browser, what will happen during the update?
It will install directly to it'll replace it. It'll update and replace.
Okay, perfect. All right, that's good.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks for your question. Appreciate that. Okay, I'm going to go to Elsbeth Pierce. Elsbeth, you should be able to unmute yourself, and we'd love to hear your question. Just going to try and unmute you again, Elsbeth.
Hello.
Hi, how are you? You have.
Yes, Stuart. Long time no see.
Yeah, good to hear you.
Right, Stuart. There are many aspects of the BrailleSense which at the moment I'm not using, and I'm just wondering whether now that this new update is coming online, whether it'd be worth you perhaps running a couple of webinars for dum-dums like me, so that we can get a bit more of a handle on things.
It's a great question, and yeah, we did do a couple of years ago a BrailleSense 6 basics. I'm not sure that that's the correct name. I can't remember what we called it, but yes, it's funny you say it. I had a thought about that the other day, so I think it's a great idea. We might even get Jenny to make a guest appearance.
Yeah, I mean, my concern is that, yes, I know there are some people who use their braille senses a lot. I would like to use mine more, but I'm sort of getting twisted up with certain things, and I think sometimes it might be an idea to just have somebody run through a few things, like the new bits that the new updates dates, and then perhaps go over things, for example, like using the memory, using the memory on the thing and how to copy things over, so that we'd sort of have a mixed bag of things, a sort of miscellaneous bag of things that perhaps we could look over, rather than just going over the same old things.
No, it's a really good
Well,
idea, and I think once the new update comes out, we can certainly look at doing that pretty quickly.
Thank you
and
very much indeed. I, for one, would appreciate it.
Okay.
there
Sorry.
are some tutorials that are in many respects still relevant. And in fact, many of for example, like the file manager aspects and, changing settings and stuff that Stuart did a couple of years ago would still be relevant. And some of what we probably need to do is to actually go through and sort of filter out the ones that still are and replace the ones that are not. But I think some of that probably is still available for you. We do have several things. I know Earl in the US did some. I believe Brian actually created a tutorial. Stuart has several videos. So you might be able to find some resources already for that. But we probably do need to reorganize them, I would guess.
Okay, brilliant. I will come back to raised hands in a sec. I'm just going to go to a few chats. Nathaniel, who's in Sheffield, is asking, is there any commonly encountered issues or useful tips that we might need to know about regarding accessing commonly used elements with the new web browser? Is there anything that you think?
I mean, we tried to fix a lot of those I guess I don't know common, and I think that's actually the issue, is that there is so much HTML variation. That's the difficulty. So commonly used aspects and commonly used controls, we hope that we've taken care of. Where I think that we're going to see the problem is things that kind of are a little bit outside the box, that are not using commonly used types of controls and forms and things like that.
And I think until you put that out into the wild, it's very hard to know, isn't it?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really is, and
Okay.
that's part of the reason. So.
Rosie is asking, will there be any updates will there be any issues with the update if connected to school networks? I think, Rosie, that's probably something that we would support you with, because I know about your school network. The answer is hopefully not. I hope not anyway.
Might be
But
best to update offline in that situation.
yes.
That's the issue.
Lydia is saying a basic BrailleSense skills would be very useful, so we'll certainly look at that. And Elizabeth McCann, our very good friend over in Edinburgh, does great work, is asking Jenny, are there any changes to the calculator, or is it more or less unchanged?
It's unchanged, but we did try to fix a few things. Now, none of us are math experts, I've got to tell you. So if you are finding issues, especially with UEB math, because I can tell you that I know very little about it, please make sure to report those to Stuart. And we can still get those fixes in. We've got a couple weeks. So if there's something specific and you want to make sure that we have taken care of it, please check that. You can actually send logs and he can tell you how to do that. Our developer is very math savvy, and he, has Nimeth and UEB code books and stuff like that. So I will tell you that it's perfectly possible for us to fix things, but unless we know about them, they're probably not going to get addressed.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks for that, Jenny. James Bazzoni, James, I had seen your raised hand and now your hand has gone back down. So I don't know if that means that you got your question answered or not. And Elizabeth's going to get in touch with us about the calculator. And Nathaniel, sorry, is asking Jenny, if we do encounter issues with the new web browser, what is the most useful way to feedback about them?
It depends on, is he one of yours? We have some US
Yes,
too.
sorry. He's in Sheffield in the UK. So yeah, maybe Nathaniel go give me a shout because Nathaniel
Yep.
knows me.
Yep.
So
That's the best way. Yep.
yeah, and I'll happily help. Brilliant. Okay. Last call for any raised hands. Jenny, you've done this extremely efficiently and clearly answered everybody's questions, which is brilliant. I just have, there we go, raised hand from Rob Powell. We'll bring Rob in. Rob, you should be able to unmute yourself, I hope. Sometimes it,
Hello.
Hey, Rob.
Hi. Hopefully you can hear me.
We can.
Yep.
Oh, good. Okay. the reason I held back is that my question is not directly related to the new elements of the BrailleSense. In the Daisy app on the BrailleSense and also on the Sense Player, one of my big frustrations is that you can't store your stuff or have your stuff displayed in the program by the things you've most recently listened to. So if anyone's anything like me, I enjoy listening to maybe 3 or 4 books at once. But it means you've got to go through and search for them all the time. You can't list them by those 3 or 4 most recently listened to books. You mentioned that you could perhaps do a few things in time for the next update. Would it be possible to perhaps have a look at that?
I don't know if we'll get it in the BrailleSense. We can get it in the Sense Player for sure. I will ask about the BrailleSense because actually that's not very difficult to do. It would be relatively easy to make that happen, and that makes a lot of sense to me. Actually, I'm surprised nobody's asked for that before.
Can't help being perfect.
So
no, seriously, I'm listening at the moment to a book about the First World War, which is wonderful, but just a bit heavy for
right. Yes. No, I knew where you were going with that. Sometimes you got to switch to something lighter. Yep.
Yeah.
No, I do the same thing. I understand. I'm usually reading, yes, different categories of different books. And I get what you're saying. That makes a lot of sense. It will be possible. I can tell you that for sure. Whether or not, now I do suspect that we, with all these new functions, and also something that I can't yet reveal, that's coming up, we'll probably have another upgrade later in the fall. So if it does not happen, I would say that it will happen in a couple months if it doesn't happen in this upgrade. And we will get it in for the Sense Player upgrade for sure. So,
Jenny, this is my first time speaking to you, and it was as wonderful as I hoped it would be.
Charmer, Rob, charmer.
you know, what would
Thanks,
he have said
guys.
if I told him no?
Well, that's why he's been so nice. There you go. Good to talk to you, Rob. Thanks a million.
Cheers. Thank you very
Cheers.
much.
Good luck. Thank you. Okay, and a message from Julie on chat who says, Jenny, you've done brilliantly. There you go. So you've done brilliantly, Jenny. Okay, I don't see any more raised hands. I don't see any more messages in chat. I think that is just about it. Thank you, Jenny, so much for giving us your time. Sorry, I see one more raised hand. We'll take a last question from Jeff Bashton. Jeff, how are you doing? You should be able to unmute yourself, I hope.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yep. How are you, Jeff?
Just a quick one. What version of Android are we currently on, and are we going to move to a later one soon, or let me know?
So it is currently on Android 12. Now that we're past 11, it gets a little bit easier to modernize, packages without. It's something that we're basically looking into. Clearly, we're not finished developing for this product, so we can't just let things go idle. I don't have the technical answer as far as how it is going to be addressed, but I do believe we have solutions. Unfortunately, the hardware platform doesn't allow us to upgrade beyond Android 12 as a main OS, but there are things that we can do to keep security and also app access up to date. So again, I don't have the technical answer, but I do know that that's kind of currently being contemplated and considered how we're going to make sure to maintain that. And since we do have a couple more minutes, I will actually mention a couple things that we released in the last update that if you have not looked at them, you may want to consider. So I don't know if many of you have looked at the video search app. Right now it is available as an add-on, but I tell you what, I have never used YouTube so much in my life because it is so easy to find subscriptions and channels and playlists and all kinds of things. So this is something that Earl always likes to show. There are two things that he always mentions, even though they're not current. They're in the last firmware. This is one. So I highly recommend anyone who has not checked that out to do it. The other thing that he always talks about, which is one of my favorite things, We added a shortcuts manager last time. And what this lets you do is to create a global hotkey for any Android shortcut. So the Android shortcuts are shortcuts that the developers have built into their Android apps. You'll know if an app has one because if you see a double dash in front of it on the Braille display, you can press backspace I to check out what shortcuts are available, and then you can assign a global hotkey. So for example, if you want to check your Amazon order status, you can just assign a global hotkey and it will automatically open it up. Excuse me. What this is great for is to give it sort of a BrailleSense feel and to keep you from having to navigate as much of the Android sort of mobile screen reader system. I think if we're honest, even me, and I know how to do it, it's much easier to navigate the internal BrailleSense apps. So as much as we can do to sort of, streamline that interface, possibly it could do, I haven't actually looked at what shortcuts are available in like Google Classroom, for example, but I imagine there are some. So again, these might be good things to set up for students. Anyway, just a really, really great way to make Android applications much more usable and instantaneous and give it more of a BrailleSense feel. So those would be the final two things that I would mention. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. I have one final hand I just want to get David Taylor in. So David, you are the last for the day. You should be able to unmute yourself. Hopefully. Hey, David.
Hello. My question actually relates to Android apps. I'm finding more and more apps use actions as the only way you can get to things, talkback actions. And I don't know any way of getting to them in the BrailleSense. And I wondered if there is, and B, if not, something could be done about that.
Yeah, we're looking to figure out how to do it exactly. There are some ways that you can get to it. So we have ways to do like double tap and hold and things that will bring up a similar menu. I know it's not the same thing. I have a Pixel, so I know exactly what you're talking about, where you're able to swipe up and down and actually access the actions for something. And yes, we need to have an easier way to access those. You're not the first person to ask, and we are looking into how to do that more easily with our mobile screen reader. As far as right now goes, you can try to do some of the long press functions. Those are in the command summary in the very last section with the mobile screen reader. There are different things. There's like tap and hold and double tap and hold and, just long press and, what is it? There's a start and stop hold for things like WhatsApp. So there are ways to get to those functions, but not as easily as one would wish.
Thank you.
Thanks, David. And I will take just because Laura has put her hand up. So Laura, you should be able to unmute yourself. And hi, Laura.
Hi, thank you. Unfortunately, I got a call throughout this webinar, so I missed most of it, which is
Laura, I think we lost you.
I can't hear.
No, I think you're gone, Laura. I'll come back.
But you've recorded this, right?
Yeah, we have.
To answer her first question, she'll be able to catch it later. That at least will address her first part.
Exactly. Exactly. Laura, I'll come back to you before we end. I'll take a quick question from Julia Cosgrove.
Oh, hi, it's Frank here.
Frank, apologies. Yes.
Yeah, we're both here. BrailleSense 6, you do talk about the updates. The emotion, you haven't said very much. And the Sense Player, you haven't said so much about that. Are they both going to be updated?
They are. The emotion, probably at the beginning of October.
Wow.
We are doing a lot with the screen readers right now. To update the key maps and support HID on Apple and fix some various issues. So right now we are in process with several of the partner companies. It's also going to get embossing. It is going to get the language profiles. I think those are the two major internal updates to it. But yes, we will be updating emotion. Sense Player will come later in the year. We haven't determined what the final feature set will be, but that is why I said that we would be able to add the recent books option, because I know that we are going to do an update later in the year. So
Good.
Thank you, Frank. Good to hear you as always. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to squeeze anybody else in who has a chance in. Lydia has her hand up. Lydia Beach. Lydia, you should be able to unmute yourself, I hope. Hi, Lydia.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Yeah, so forgive me, I'm not very tech savvy at all. So you'll have to bear with me. But I was just wondering, you've mentioned about updating and lots of circumstances where you should update offline. I just wondered if that's always the case, or like if have a standard setup and you're at home and everything, and you've got a normal BrailleSense, whether you should still update offline or whether you can use the Wi-Fi in that situation.
So basically, the rule is that if you are, right now anyway, this isn't always the case, but right now it is. If you are upgrading from an older version, so if you're not currently running the current public release, you should upgrade offline. The only reason that we mentioned it again was just related to the school network, and that may cause problems with installations over Wi-Fi because of that. But as far as the general rule of thumb is that if you're running the current build, you should be fine. If you're not, we recommend that you do upgrade offline.
Okay, fab, thank you.
And Laura, if you run into Lydia, sorry, if you run into problems, do give us a shout and we're happy to help as well. And our tech support team are happy to help as well. Okay, folks, we're out of time. Sincere thanks to Jenny for doing this so early in the morning. Jenny, we always enjoy having you, and maybe you'll come back again in the future, in the not too distant future. So many thanks for your time. Thanks to everybody for joining us, and we look forward to being back with you all on the 1st of October for our next Webinar Wednesday event. Thanks a million.